The Tampa Bay Rowdies Podcast is back again, still undefeated, still ripping through games, and just the Rowdies are. It never changes. Every week they win.
What's the official record? I like to add those wins that have been in the tournament, but I know we don't add those in. So when people ask, what the Rowdies record, I just go, they haven't lost. What do I tell them?
I tell them 14 games unbeaten, longest streak that they've had in the modern era, and don't worry about the logistics because that's just what we're ripping through right now. That's what I tell people.
Don't worry about the logistics. Okay.
Don't worry about it. So the Prince Tires Cup, they beat Jacksonville on the weekend. Dominant performance. Jacksonville is a team that they're trying to figure it out. A dominant performance from the Rowdies. I think that the Rowdies probably could have beat them by more than 2-0. Mm-hmm. We talked about the Prince Tires Cup, how the group play was a state tournament, and the Rowdies needed to claim the state, be dominant in the state. And I could be wrong, but I think they gave up one goal in the 3 games they played, and they've already advanced out of the group. And so
they haven't given up very many goals this year, so one sounds about right.
Yeah. So great win for the team over the weekend. And, they did a great job. They advanced out of the group, which is what we wanted to do. That means there'll be a drawing. We'll dive into that more as it's coming.
Our buddy MD Myers scored, didn't he?
Well, we didn't jinx him.
No.
We absolutely didn't jinx him.
I was really worried about that. I really, for some reason, I don't know if you probably don't because you're an athlete, but sometimes I leave and I'm like, wow, I really want that guy to like me. And MD was one of those guys. So he hasn't checked his Instagram message yet. Busy guy, but he was one of those. So when I saw him score, I was like, okay, everything is still on the up and up with him.
Well, I thought that, you always worry about jinxing things a little bit. But at this point, at the very beginning of this season, it was kind of like, well, we don't want to talk about the fact that they're unbeaten because you don't want to jinx it. And then once it got a little bit going, we're like, oh, maybe we'll lean into it a little bit. And now it's just I'm leaning into it. Best team in America, hottest team in America. And MD Myers, we had him on the pod last week talking about how he's banging in goals. And he scored again. So, I don't know.
There's a lot going on right now in the football world. I mean, we have the Rowdies going on. Obviously, the World Cup's happening. I mean, for soccer, it doesn't happen this often. I mean, it's really every 4 years. And with the way the Rowdies are playing, I want to say that's once in, it might be once every few years kind of thing too. So it's wild, the culmination of soccer that's happening right now.
There's a generational run of soccer going on in this area. And obviously the Rowdies are the heartbeat of that because the Rowdies are the local team and you always want to support your local clubs. But with the World Cup going on, the fact that the Rowdies are on the type of tear that they are on, I mean, the buzz in the city for the Rowdies is getting bigger and bigger.
Oh, yes.
Every time I post on Instagram that they won, I get tons of responses that are like, is this team ever going to lose? And I'm not here to jinx them. This is a humongous week in the Rowdy season coming up. This is a massive week for so many different reasons. We'll dive into that. But they continue to get better. They continue to mix up the lineups. Players keep getting minutes that, might not be getting a ton of minutes. Players are getting healthy. And they're unbeaten, and they're the best team in the league. They're the best team in America right now, and it's just a lot of fun.
It's MD Myers and a new guy every single week. That's what it is with the Rowdies.
MD's been hot, but I mean that's why they signed him. But I mean, again, it's just a dominant performance, offensively, defensively. To be honest, we're not going to dive too much into the Jacksonville game, Prince Tires Cup, because we have a massive week at Al Lang Stadium coming up.
Yeah, what's going on here? Charleston
on Wednesday. Charleston on Wednesday, national broadcasted game. If you go through the USL Power Rankings, Rowdies are number 1, Charleston's number 2. The Rowdies went on the road at Charleston for another nationally broadcasted game, so that just tells you how much emphasis is on this rivalry within the league.
Was that a draw earlier the year?
Tied 1-1, and then you could make the argument that was probably one of the games in this unbeaten streak, maybe one of the 2, if there are 2 games in this unbeaten streak where the Rowdies got a little bit lucky to get their result.
Yes, yeah.
So huge game. I mean, massive game between 2 of the best, if not the best, clubs in the USL, and it's kicking off on a Wednesday at Al Lang Stadium, leading into the World Cup.
What do you think about being all in on the Rowdies this year? This is the first time I've really been able to embrace it and be part of it. I haven't been to a Wednesday game. What do you think that's going to be like in the middle of the summer against a great team with everything that's going on now, knowing a lot of people in this area do have soccer fever?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, the buzz is there. I think that any time that you have a game like this of this magnitude, the fact that it's on national TV, the fact that these are the 2 best teams in the league, this is a rivalry. The people that have a real understanding of what this game means for the Rowdies are going to be in attendance and they're going to show up. I know for me, it's fun because I'm not doing the broadcast this game. So I'm going to be down with the fans. My plan is to be in Ralph's Mob with the Skyway Casuals. My plan is to have a really good time and, get some content from there, but also enjoy what it's like to be a diehard Tampa Bay Rowdies fan. And for me, It's going to be fun because I have to kind of keep my
Shirt on?
unbiased, and we'll see. I kind of have to keep my like unbiased-ish hat on when I'm broadcasting games,
Yeah.
but this one I'm going to lean into it, and if I can get a player that scores a goal to come up into the crowd with me and give me a big hug, that's what I'm going for.
Were the commentators on Saturday, were they Jacksonville commentators? Do you know? Were you?
Yeah.
It felt like, I wasn't sure. I felt like I was like always the same guys, but then it really felt like they were leaning towards Jacksonville. I didn't know. I didn't want to be one of those guys where it's like, oh my God, Reggie Miller's rooting against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I didn't want to be one of those guys, but I felt like that was the case.
I'm pretty sure that they have their own broadcast team. So, but again, I mean, like, anytime you get the opportunity to showcase what you're going to be doing on national TV, and this is a good opportunity for the fans of soccer in this area to come out and support and show that, you know, we're really supporting our local club. The team's undefeated. They're playing really well. And it goes Wednesday at Charleston, massive, massive, massive game. And it's going to be a very good soccer game. These are two teams that are very good soccer teams. And you got kind of two different storylines. Charleston's been around. They've been together a long time. The Rowdies are this new upstart team that just came together. And we're going to find out, you know, kind of who is the king of the castle after this game on Wednesday.
MD, didn't he come from Charleston?
MD came from Charleston. Nate, the defender, came from Charleston. There's a couple guys that have history with that club. Leland, we haven't seen him play yet. He came from Charleston as well. So there's some history in that, and there's some history with the rivalry. And so it should be a really good game on Wednesday.
Is this one of those things where we should go outside of Charleston's hotel in the middle of the night and, you know, start playing music? Is it one of those level type of games, or should we save that for later on in the year?
Why not?
Okay. I don't want to get you in trouble at all. I know you were. All right. Well, you know, fans, we'll get together. We'll talk online and Reddit and stuff like that. We don't want to put Jeff on the spot.
Yeah, I personally won't be out there, but
No.
you know, I'm not going to say you should or shouldn't, because it would be, you know, if they weren't as rested as they could be, then who knows if that could make an impact.
Always makes an impact.
You never know. So speaking of that, a lot of this goes on in the World Cup. So we have the game on Wednesday. This is a massive week for Al Lang Stadium. Like, if you want to just come camp out in the parking lot at Al Lang Stadium and come to these events, like, you might find me there, honestly, because Al Lang Stadium is going to be buzzing this week. So we have the massive game on Wednesday. Friday night, we're doing the watch party for U.S. Soccer versus Paraguay, opening up the gates and letting fans in. There's going to be a screen on the field, massive watch party for U.S. Paraguay at the stadium, which will be awesome, opening game for the World Cup. And then, so that event kicks off. Games at 9 o'clock.
That's this Friday?
That's this Friday. So we have Charleston Wednesday at Al Lang. Watch party. Game kicks off at 9 o'clock at Al Lang.
Is that 9 p.m.?
9 p.m. Sorry, yes. Yeah. And then Saturday, home game versus Hartford.
Whoo, man.
So it is a whopper of a week at Al Lang Stadium.
That's great, though, man. That's probably the busiest Al Lang's been since, I don't know, they were running spring training and stuff back in the day, and they had games every day. I mean, that's a lot going on, but that's awesome for the people that are going to go to Al Lang for the first time on Friday. They're going to go. They're going to watch it. It's going to be probably, I'll just say, one of the best places in the entire country that you can have a watch party. And they're going to go, you know what? I love this so much. I love being out here. I'm going to come to the game Saturday. It's good. It's great for how well the Rowdies are playing, and with soccer going on, there's a lot of opportunity to turn people on to the Rowdies, and that's obviously what we're always trying to do. But this is just a perfect opportunity. I thought the watch parties were next week, man. I don't know what, all the soccer is just blending in for me. I had no idea that June whatever was at the end of this week. I thought it was already next week.
Oh, there's watch parties next week too.
Oh, okay,
watch parties. Listen, man, there are watch parties galore going on for this World Cup. So you're going to get your dose of soccer, but this is. I mean, I can't say it any better than you just said it. This is the money week at Al Lang Stadium, and it starts Wednesday with a massive, massive game versus Charleston. That's going to be a lot of fun for anybody that's in attendance.
Is it free on Friday?
No.
Why do you have to pay? What do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to rowdysoccer.com.
Okay.
If you're listening to this podcast, you know by now. Go to rowdysoccer.com for everything that you possibly need. Tampa Bay Rowdies. We have summer camps going on.
Woo.
Those kick off at Al Lang next week. We have the watch parties, we have massive games, USL games. We're advancing the Prinks Tires Cup, so there's going to be a drawing to see who we play next and where that game's going to be. Soccer madness. Soccer summer has officially arrived, and it kicks off this week, Wednesday night against Charleston at 7 p.m., by the way, a little bit earlier than the 7:30 kickoff.
I had Leo Fernandez's son at my daughter's birthday, so that is really, there's a real lot going on right now in this world.
A lot of connections going on. So that's what we have going on in Rowdy's world. Obviously, if you can make it over there to Al Lang Stadium, all the support for these guys is amazing because everybody feeds off the energy. And we saw it last home game. It feels like it's been forever since it's been there.
It has. Home game. It has. It feels weird.
once the crowd is there, once people are there and people are into it and the stadium gets rocking, there's really not a better environment in the USL. So get there Wednesday and then pretty much stay all the way to Sunday.
I feel like I haven't seen Pedro in a long time. I see him on Instagram all the time. I know he's doing a lot of content for you guys, but I need to be around him and his energy, man. It's infectious.
He's a media darling, that Pedro Dolabella. He's doing a good job with it.
That means he's the kind of guy that won't say no to anything, which I know you guys love.
Yeah, he's a media darling, Pedro Dolabella. But yeah, man, so from there, talk a little bit about the World Cup. We'll transition a little bit there just because we do have the watch party and a lot of people are going to be tuning into soccer for the first time. USA, last time we talked, they beat Senegal. This time we're talking, they lost to Germany 2-1 in their last little warm-up game before the World Cup.
Was that the one that was in Chicago?
Yeah, it was the last game that they just had a little bit of a send-off game, they call it. And
people were stoked, man. They were really people were really loving the vibe that in Chicago and everything. And they started talking about why aren't any games being hosted here? But man, that was a massive, massive event that people had this weekend.
The buzz is fine. The buzz I think is finally here.
Yeah.
I think we've been kind of waiting for the buzz and when it was going to really kick in. And now that it is week of last week, obviously they played Germany, which is a huge game. It's here. The buzz is here. And I think for this U.S. team, I think that they lost, yes, but Germany's a top 5 team in the world. It's a friendly game going into it. So it's more of one of those things. It's how does the team look? Did they compete? Do they look like they're gelling? Did players stay healthy? And all those check the box. And for me, the coolest thing that we saw in that entire game, and it gets me even more fired up, is that after the game ended, there was a little bit of a skirmish. There was a little bit of hostility with one of the hard tackles, and then it was things got a little bit chippy. And this actually happened with the Tampa Bay Rowdies early in preseason, was they were playing an MLS team behind closed doors, I think it was. It might have been behind closed doors. It might have been open. Who knows at this point. But there was a little bit of a skirmish between, I think it was Montreal and the Rowdies, and all the Rowdies players jumped to each other's defense, and everybody was getting invested in it, and everybody got into it. And for me, it was just that moment of oh, this team has each other's backs.
Yeah.
They're ready to fight. They're ready to go to war for each other. And to see that versus the U.S., it was awesome, and now I'm all the way jacked up.
Well, let me just say, I didn't even know the U.S. lost just because I saw everybody having such a great time. And what was it, that goal?
Oh, yeah.
I saw that. What was happening there, dude? That was electric.
Absolutely electric. And then they blasted Freebird on the PA speakers after the goal went in.
We need another song.
Jedi Robinson. I mean, but for him, he's somebody that he's been dealing with injuries. He dealt with injuries, so it was cool to see him have that moment. Good to see some of these guys getting back into it. I know Chris Richards, he's coming back from an injury, and it seemed like he started training again. Don't know if he'll be ready for game 1, but the guys are getting healthy. The buzz is growing, and I think that as a country, we're just ready to see us do something special.
All right. How does the first game look? For people, this is I was down at the barbershop today. There's people that think Alexi Lawless is still on the team. For people that are going to watch this for the first time Friday night at 9 o'clock, get stoked. What do they need to look for?
Paraguay's a good team. I think that's something that, everybody looks at the group and thinks, oh, USA should win this group easily, and it should be, something that's pretty simple. If you look at the percentages of who's supposed to make it out of the group, the U.S. group is very, very tight. So Paraguay's a good team. They're probably slated to finish 3rd if everything goes the way that it says it's going to. So it'll be a good game. It'll be chippy. They're a team that likes to play fast, and the U.S. is going to try to play. So I think a lot of people are used to seeing a U.S. team, especially when you talk about back in the day, the Alexi Lawless days or the days of, when U.S. was really a big underdog in the sport. They played a different style. But now they're going to try to play. They're going to try to be aggressive. They're going to try to be on the front foot. And they're supposed to win this game, and I think that they're going to play like a team that knows that they're supposed to win this game.
What kind of finish does the team need to have for this to be a success on U.S. soil for America?
We've gotten to the round of 16 a ton. So making it to the round of 16 now is kind of you're used to that. This tournament is different because there are more teams. So once you leave that group stage, there's a round of 32, which there hasn't been that before. So there is an extra game added in to make it to the round of 16. But in saying that, some of the teams that have made the tournament aren't as good as the teams that used to, right? So it's for me, if the U.S. is able to make it past the round of 16 and into the quarterfinals, from there you're just playing with house money.
Okay.
That's a really good showing. And I do think that this is the team that is really capable of doing that. But now it's about, okay, can you win your group that you're supposed to win? Turkey's good. That'll be a good game. Australia's competitive. You know what I mean? There's going to be good games. Can you win your group? Can you go to the round of 32, beat a team that you're supposed to beat? And then once you get to that round of 16, can you beat a team that might be ranked higher than you to get yourself to that next level? And in my opinion, this is the group that has the capabilities of doing that. it's on home soil, so you want to see something really special. There's an added layer of pressure to that, but I mean, every stadium that they're going to go into should be a U.S.-dominated fan base that is really behind this team. So I think that quarterfinals is a good finish, but like let's aim a little bit higher than that as well.
Just one question. We didn't plan to talk about this, but I did want to ask you. They showed, I don't know if it was the team from England or if it was the Netherlands, but they were in North Carolina and they were training, and they showed all the guys that were laid out with their shirts off, and they said that these Euros can't handle the heat over there. I didn't know there was some sort of back and forth that it's hotter than Europe than it is over here. Is there any take on this that this heat could be too much for anybody that's coming over from that side of the pond?
Yeah, I mean, it's hot.
It's hot. Is it not hot everywhere? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
These guys look like they were really in pain here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, hey, maybe that'll be advantage USA because maybe we're used to the heat like that. But it is hot. I mean, it's the summer. It's going to be hot. I do think some of the funniest things that you're finding on the internet right now, though, are like there are fans from Europe that are discovering some like American things. One of them I saw was like, just went to a Waffle House. Unbelievable. Another one was like, my favorite thing about America so far is the big gulp from 7-Eleven. Like, just some of the stuff is so funny that you're finding on the internet.
I saw something. Somebody goes, England, you better get on this ranch, on the table type deal. So, yeah, shout out America, gets a bad rap a lot of the times. But now people are really having a great time being over here for the World Cup.
It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny kind of like tracking that because I think that that's something that will keep happening throughout the course of the World Cup. It's been really funny on the internet. But, it's not just the U.S. that's hosting. Canada's hosting. I have a friend that's going to a game in Vancouver. I've played in the stadium in Vancouver. Beautiful place. Mexico's hosting games as well. Mexico City. I know that I've played down there. Beautiful place. Awesome place to go. So the World Cup in general is just going to be an amazing spectacle through all of North America, and I know that everybody here is going to embrace it, and it's just kind of like strap in and let's see what this tournament has to offer.
You mentioned Mexico. Did you have some sort of dealing with the goalie for Mexico?
So I believe that Ochoa, who's the goalie for Mexico, he is my all-time favorite goalie.
Okay.
He's my favorite goalie because I think he's the most consistent goalkeeper that the world has seen in a very, very long time. He's going to his 6th World Cup. So think about that. I think he's 40. I think he's been years in which he has been alive is more than half the years in which he wasn't in the World Cup. Does that make sense? Did I explain that right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's one of the cooler stories of this entire World Cup is to see how he does. And even though it's Mexico, we're not supposed to like Mexico. That's the rival. For a goalkeeper, you have to give him a ton of respect. And one of the things that we'll see throughout the course of the World Cup is the jersey exchanges. And I'm just going to tell this story because I think it was really cool.
Okay, please.
So we played against Club America, which is the team that he played for when I was with the Portland Timbers. And I'm not a big jersey exchange guy. I always try to play it cool. I'm like, you know what, if I do get a good jersey, I've gotten some good ones before.
Rooney, right?
I got Rooney, but I got his because my roommate roomed with him. And then, I've gotten Tim Howard's, which was cool. I went to a camp with Tim Howard. I worked a camp for Tim Howard, and then I played against him later in life, and we exchanged jerseys. That was cool.
Hey, dude, listen, I interviewed you the first time. You told me about Rooney. I remembered that for 6 years waiting to throw back at you. I know you, man.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that's a good jersey.
Thank you.
So then, but with Ochoa, it was cool because that was the guy in my mind. I'm like, this guy's kind of like a hero of mine, and I respect him a ton. So it was cool to get to play against him. But then we're losing 1-0 at home, and then we score in the last minute of the game to tie it before we had to go back to Mexico to play against them again. And he was just noticeably so mad that they gave up the goal, and I beelined it didn't shake anybody's hand, beelined it, sprinted straight to him, and was just asking him about the jersey exchange.
Were you thinking about the jersey exchange while you were in net?
Oh, before the game.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I knew it. I was like, I don't think anybody's going to go ask for the goalkeeper's jersey because not a lot of people ask for goalkeeper's jerseys.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was like, I am going to exchange jerseys with Ochoa no matter what happens in this game. And I made a point to tell myself that. So right when the game ended, he's noticeably mad. We're all celebrating. People are so happy. I sprint towards him. And I do the jersey exchange. I asked him to switch jerseys, and he just reluctantly was just rolls his eyes. It was yeah, here you go. So we switched out or whatever. And then for me, I was like, that was the coolest jersey exchange, the coolest jersey that I have. So
I thought he was gonna say he liked your game or something like that.
No, we didn't talk much. He wasn't. Yeah, no, there wasn't many pleasantries exchanged or anything. It was halfway through a 2-leg tournament game, but. and they had just given up the goal, so he was not happy about what was going on. But for me, like, I was just like giddy, and I was like, I got to get this jersey.
Did you see the awkward jersey exchange that happened at Texas A&M with the quarterback, I think Marcel Reed, who gave his jersey to Messi?
Yeah, and then people were like, Messi doesn't even know who Marcel Reed is. Why would Messi know who Marcel Reed for Texas A&M is?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't think Messi gave him one of his jerseys at all. Like, I appreciate what he did, but also it's like, to me, that's like a little leaguer giving you your jersey. What are you going to do? What's Messi going to do with that? You know?
What do I want to do with that? There are so many different. I mean, we can go on and on about this. We're not going to, but there's so many different funny things that are happening. It's like Messi playing at Kyle Field, Texas A&M Stadium.
Yes.
There's a couple teams that are playing at like Texas. They're like their headquarters are like Texas high school football facilities.
Well, who's in Tampa?
Cape Verde. So they are the underdog. They are the underdog of this World Cup. Their story is actually pretty awesome. It's like I don't want to butcher this, but I think they have less people population than Hillsborough County has. So when you think about a team like that, they beat Ghana in qualifications. You know, it's a team they got in pretty much because of the expanded field. But for a country like them to represent their country in the World Cup, be on this stage, they play Spain, I think, game 1. So it's a cool story.
This is just a big moment for them to be here.
Yeah, it's awesome for them to be here, and the fact that they're at the Tampa Bay Rowdies facility, you know, it really speaks levels to what the facility is, because you have to get approved by FIFA to host a World Cup team, which is a pretty big deal. So if you're cheering for somebody in the World Cup outside of the U.S., that's a fun team to cheer for because they're here in Tampa. But so one of the things, like, that's good that you brought that up, because that's going to transition us into our interview. So one of the things is that we want to make sure that we cover everything for everybody going on in the city in terms of what's going on with the World Cup, what the impact of sports has on the city. So we are here with I Love the Burg, and we're going to have a fun interview and talk about everything going on. So do you have anything before I do all the plugging that needs to take place for everything going on this week?
Man, I think we covered it all. I didn't even expect that, you know, the Messi, Marcel Reed. I didn't even expect a lot of these things that I've seen on Twitter to come up today. I'm very, very happy with the soccer background stuff that I was able to provide.
We're ripping it off the cuff today. It's a big week. So Wednesday night, Tampa Bay Rowdies versus Charleston. Massive, massive, massive game. Probably the biggest game of the season to date since the last time that we played Charleston. Huge game. If you can get down to Al Lang Stadium, that kicks off at 7 p.m. Friday night, we have a watch party for U.S. Paraguay at Al Lang Stadium. That game kicks off at 9 p.m., so strap yourselves in. It's going to be a late night. If the U.S. score, bring a poncho, because beer at these watch parties gets flying.
Oh.
Going to be an awesome atmosphere. Then Saturday, 7:30, the Rowdies are back home at Al Lang to play against Hartford. Huge week at Al Lang Stadium. Huge week for St. Petersburg. RowdySoccer.com is your home for everything. Come cheer on the best team of America. Hope you guys enjoy the interview, and you can enjoy some of the fun things going on at St. Pete this summer. All right, as promised, we are here with Bob from I Love the Burg, and we are excited to hear this story that you walked in and you wanted to tell about Messi in high school. You walked in at the end of our interview, and then we're going to kick this off with a story. Thank you for being here, because the hope is that you could fill everybody in with everything going on this summer in both of the cities, because there is so much to do.
Oh, there's a ton happening. But yeah, I walk up and I hear you guys talking about, like, why is Marcel Reed giving Messi his jersey? They're playing in college stadiums, and it is wild to see. So I worked at Mississippi State University, covered sports there for about 10 years. So a lot of my buddies are still back there. One of my friends, I'm in a group text this morning, his son, who I'm guessing, I think he's 10, if I remember right. Sorry if I'm getting this wrong. Huge Argentina fan. Like, he is really getting into soccer, obsessed with Argentina. Obviously, Messi is a big part of that. They find out that Messi and Argentina are playing at Auburn University.
Whoa.
In Alabama. They're playing at Jordan-Hare Stadium, which is it's just a wild thing to see pictures of Messi walking down, like, oh, that's where Cam Newton went to college. That's fun. All right.
They're going to show those pictures 100 years from now, like Messi in Alabama, and be like, no, dude, that's not real.
Yeah. I love this
crazy.
stuff. I love this stuff, though. Like, as a college football fan, like, there was a whole time where they were debating where they were going to host the World Cup in the different places, and a lot of conversations was like, we got to go to the big house. Like, this is a massive stadium. We got to go to Happy Valley. We got to go to these places.
Do it at the Rose Bowl. I think there are games at the Rose Bowl.
There might be. I don't know. I gotta look.
There have been in
the
past,
more.
at least.
Yeah, but it's like, but eventually they got to the point where it's like these tiny airports could never.
No, the cities can't handle it. The college towns can't do that.
But it is pretty cool. Like, I don't know. We should do a whole thing on, like, what would be the funniest, like, what's the funniest combination of, like, college town with professional soccer team or some type of athlete like that. But it is pretty funny to think of Messi and Auburn, Alabama. Now I just want to watch college football.
Well, and I got excited. So my buddy sends a video. He knows someone at Auburn, and in addition to buying the tickets for the game, he was like, tells his buddy that works in athletics at Auburn, hey, I'm coming, bringing my son. He's so excited. And he's like, well, hey, you know, we've got the team mascots that go out on the field with the players before the game. Do you think your son would want to do that?
Ooh.
So he sent us a video this morning of them telling his son that he's going to get to walk out on the field with Argentina, with the players. He starts crying. It was the coolest thing. I'm like, man, that's why sports matter. That's why soccer is so cool and universal. Like, that's a language we all speak, no matter what country you're coming into the States from.
Dude, I love it, man. My daughter actually got to do that as well when Miami played here, and like she was like 2 people away from Messi, and I'm like, my daughter, I played soccer my whole life, and my daughter's closer to Messi than I'll ever be in my entire life. It's like I don't even think she realizes what's going on here, but it was a really cool moment.
That's why our soccer is just so different, because you just want to get around these guys. Like, you're not even trying to meet them. Like, you're happy if you're just around Messi or Ronaldo.
Well, I think that too. It's like there are only a handful of people that are playing in this World Cup that a lot of Americans would be able to respond that way, and obviously Messi is one of them. But like, if you took, I don't know, I'd probably say like there's probably 5 guys that kids would actually react that way, that they have the opportunity to do that. So to be like one of the kids that actually gets to do that, pretty cool, man. Yeah, the World Cup's going to bring a lot of buzz. So I think, you know, one of the things, like, that's why I wanted to have you on, man, because like the World Cup is something that brings cities to life. I think that it rejuvenates cities, and there's a lot of things going on in the summer that you don't normally get. It's good for restaurants, it's good for watch parties, it's good for everybody. So as somebody that has a pulse on, you know, the city of St. Pete, the city of Tampa, what do you think that this World Cup just means in terms of the business driving in, the way that it's going to unite people, and you talk about the importance of sports and everything and how sports play such an impact on the city? I'm a huge believer in that whenever a Tampa sports team does well, the city is at its absolute best.
Oh, it brings people together. I think it's, I mean, we don't even have to get into the politics side of it, but it is just everything's getting expensive. People are having a hard time. And like, this is something that like, oh wait, this is fun. This makes me happy. This is a cool thing in that you can watch for free at home. You can watch pretty cheap out at restaurants and bars. I think it's $10 to get into the watch parties for Team USA. I mean, you can have a really good time for not that much money. And that's, again, what you talk about with sports, brings people from all backgrounds together. There's nowhere like a soccer stadium, a football stadium, a basketball arena that has that collection of people who individually would be completely different, would never get along or even talk. But then they're just arm in arm. They're yelling. They're throwing beers in the air when U.S. scores, taking the shirts off and waving them around in the upper deck. It's wonderful. That's what you want to see, and that's what it brings. And I think it's going to be cool for St. Pete and Tampa to experience that, especially these last couple summers, especially on the St. Pete side, on the beaches, have been really, really rough. I mean, to the point that, you know, the St. Pete Chamber of Commerce hosted an event, I think a week or 2 ago, to like, all right, how do we figure this out for businesses to get people back in the summer? And this is something that's going to take people everywhere. Because, you know, it's not just, you know, you think about big sporting events and, okay, I'm going to go to Ferg's. Like, that's the main sports bar, or whatever sports bars there are. There's a handful. And you say, okay, we'll go there and watch the basketball game. We'll catch NFL on Sunday. This one's going everywhere. I mean, breweries are hosting watch parties for every game. And that's the great thing about it being in North America, that with the exception of a couple of the East Coast or West Coast games that are at midnight, places are going to be open for almost everything. And I know at least one, Mary Margaret's downtown St. Pete, they're going to be open for all of it. You got a midnight game, that's your place to go watch and get some Reuben egg rolls while you're there.
That's awesome, man. That is cool when you have, you know, places that are going to accommodate the crowd, man, because that doesn't happen too often.
Well, I think that's too, like, that's the cool thing about the World Cup that you might not get in different sports, right? Like, the Olympics were awesome. Like, don't get me wrong, the USA winning the Olympics was awesome. Like, I of course found a bar to watch it at. It was early in the morning. I found a place to go to. There were places that were open, of course. But when the World Cup comes to town, it everywhere is going to be playing it. Literally. And every single place that you go to is going to be flooded with people, because there's something about the World Cup that just makes everybody want to get to a bar and watch and like be captivated by this sport. So you talk about, you know, the way that it's going to impact St. Pete, the way it's going to impact Tampa. I didn't know that about trying to get businesses, you know, driving in the summer. So this is going to be a huge driver for that, I would imagine, across the board. So obviously, you know, we're the Rowdies Podcast. We're a St. Pete-based team. What are the different things that you've seen, like, across the board with the Rowdies and the events that they're doing and the things like that that you think help kind of bring that community together as well?
Well, yeah, no, I think anytime people are getting excited about a sport, and the World Cup gets you excited about soccer, then you're looking for what are my follow-ups? What's my actual actionable thing I can do where I live? And the Rowdies are doing a fantastic job of providing that opportunity. I don't know if you guys saw, or maybe you talked about it before you even got here. I saw they just announced basically a promo. If you've never been to a Rowdies game, your first ticket's on us.
What?
That is a
Did we announce that?
That's a brilliant idea. Yes.
All right, sweet. Yeah, I didn't know if we announced that yet.
Maybe that's what the email was about that I got.
If I got the email too early, I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure we put that out yet, but I knew. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah.
No, that's to me that is just the coolest, most brilliant idea. Whoever came up with that, great job. That you're going to take these people who are interested in the sport and, hey, here's your free pass to come try it out here at home. And I think it gives people, A, something to do, B, something to feel involved in and be a part of. I mean, I feel like it's so cheesy. We're talking about sports, but like everybody wants something to be a part of. And when you've got a sports team that you cheer for, you get to be a part of something.
Well, that's
and
the big,
cool
that's the big
it.
unifier. I mean, that's how you have somebody from Auburn, Alabama, having Messi walk across the field and things like that. So I kind of want to tie this in a little bit because I'm a big college football guy. Like I love college towns. Like I know all about college football. Like very invested in it. But you talk about your time that you spent 10 years at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
How do you capitalize? I know that when you're at a small town like that it's like the university is the school. Everybody loves that. So it's like, do you think that there are transferable ways where you could take what you are able to capture in a city like that and apply it to like a professional sports team, or like apply it to a St. Petersburg, where you try to capture that momentum and that feeling that they have so deeply about their college and then transfer it to a professional team? Do you think that that's something that is like possible even?
Absolutely. Well, I think, so I grew up in Starkville, where Mississippi State is. And I have memories of going to Mississippi State soccer games where I'm meeting the players afterwards. I'm going to the camps in the summer. And that's something the Rowdies are already doing here.
Do they ring the cowbell at soccer games?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Cowbells everywhere except for basketball games inside the arena. Obviously, that's a little problematic.
Okay.
That's a little loud.
All right.
But every sport, baseball, softball, tennis, you will hear cowbells everywhere.
Okay, sorry. I was just interested. I threw you off track there. I was
No.
I was so curious about the cowbells.
I think soccer especially, and the Rowdies do a great job of it, you can get people invested early. So you're growing up in St. Pete, in Tampa, Clearwater, Sarasota, wherever you are, and you're coming to these games, you develop that lifelong fandom. We're seeing that now with the Rays.
Mm-hmm.
That I think as the generations kind of age, we're seeing the first people who experienced the Rays here. Well, all right, I already had a team, then you guys showed up. So I like you, but I didn't grow up on you. And now we're seeing there's the people who are 30 years old, and all they've known here is the Rays in St. Pete.
Guilty.
It takes time. I mean, you had 20 years ago, people are like, how come people aren't going to the Rays games? How come the Yankees fans are filling up? It's like, well, these teams have been around for 100 years. It's like, we just you gotta give this some time. It takes time, and yes, you are starting to see this generation of people that only care about the Rays, only know about the Rays. So yeah, it is starting to shift.
Well, I think too, it's that's to bring it all full circle, like back to the World Cup, back to the watch parties, back to like St. Petersburg. It seems like I do not live in St. Petersburg. I live in Tampa. Mm-hmm. So you guys are the St. Pete experts. You can clue me in a little bit better. But
we got room for all here.
Yeah, I think
right.
I
think
you're
right. Sports brings us together.
We're a collective unit. We're a collective unit.
It's the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
But it seems like the Rowdies. They started in '75. So a lot of the fans are from back in the day. And there's a time where the Rowdies didn't exist, and then we came back, and the whole history. But it seems like there are more young families moving into St. Petersburg. Am I right or wrong on that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting seeing the trends that it's new grads that are moving to Tampa, and it's young families, usually in their 30s, that are more coming to St. Pete.
Okay.
And so you see the trend shifting in each city toward that Tampa's getting a little bit more of, some of the clubs and the bars and the very trendy experiences. And St. Pete's like, hey, come in, be comfortable. You can bring the kids, you can relax, but we're still going to give you a nice product.
And that's kind of what you're looking for, right? You need those young families that are getting the kids to those games, getting them out there, and then that's where that one ticket, the free ticket, if you haven't been to a game, because like we like to say that if you haven't been to a Tampa Bay Rowdies game, come once, you're going to come back.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all about getting you in the door for the first time.
Yeah, I think people who haven't been don't realize what that in-stadium experience is like. You can see the pictures of the mob, and it's like, oh, that looks cool. But then you get there, and you're like, oh, this is wild. Like this is. That's what a soccer atmosphere should be. And, to your point about how excited people get with the World Cup compared to other competitions, I think that's part of it, that all sports you get excited to be in a stadium with other people. But this is one, soccer especially, just the crowd is such a big part of it. And so for the Rowdies, you want to be in that crowd. For the World Cup, to your point, that's why people are flocking to all the bars, because that's the closest you get to the game day experience. And that's what I think is going to be so fun about these Team USA watch parties, that you are going to literally be in a stadium for this Friday, and then the others you're still going to be surrounded by thousands of people, that it feels like a game day atmosphere, and that is so cool.
I mean, I saw the videos from the last World Cup, the watch parties at Janice Landing, because the second one in St. Pete that we have for that 3 o'clock game, which is that's the money time time slot.
That one's
3 o'clock on a Friday is going to be nuts everywhere you go.
I was there for the one at Janice, and that was such a good. I wish the U.S. had pulled it out, but man, the way that crowd went nuts when U.S. scored. You feel like you're at a rock concert and the game at the same time.
Yeah.
In the middle of Janice, it was great.
That's cool. Yeah, that one's going to be awesome. I mean, it's truly like. It's hard to describe because I know that a lot of people listening to this have probably been to World Cup watch parties, but we're trying to reach people that haven't necessarily fallen in love with the game yet. It's hard to describe how fun a USA soccer World Cup watch party is when they score, when they win, and even sometimes when they lose, because like there's some sense of bonding that comes over it. So it's cool that you've had that experience at Janice, because that's one that I think is going to just be off the rails, along with the one at Al Lang Stadium.
Well, I think it's one of the few sports where, you watch the Olympics, the Americans are at the top or the top of so many different sports that soccer is one of the few that we don't come into it expecting to win. And so that underdog mentality to me,
that's so true.
It's more fun to be an underdog. I say this as a Mississippi State guy, so of course I like being an underdog. It's all I've ever known. But it's more fun that way because you get more excited by the wins, by the goals, and you don't feel as bad if you lose. You're like, all right, well, we lost to France. What did we think was going to happen here? Like, we had a good time.
And this is what we're trying to beat in U.S. soccer, that mentality. So we got to get out of this underdog mentality. But to the general fan, that's how soccer feels in this country.
Bob, let me ask you this. Obviously, being a big St. Pete guy, we mentioned Janice, and they're having a watch party. We'll get into that. I feel like Janice is one of the best music venues in the country, probably right up there with Red Rocks. Are you willing to say this, and I think that you are, that the watch party at Al Lang will probably be one of the better watch parties in all of the country as far as just the view and the actual setup of the whole watch party?
Oh, but just the spectacle of it. Like, you think about, we just had the Red Bull cliff diving when the Grand Prix comes to downtown St. Pete. That view is amazing over the waterfront. I mean, you guys have that every week. That's incredible. I'm jealous of that. But that is going to be one of the wildest scenes, and you get to be a part of it here in St. Pete for, not even the price of a beer at a regular game.
It's going to be nuts. I can't wait for it. It's going to be nuts.
Well, St. Pete loves stuff like this, man. And St. Pete loves cool places to drink. So.
Yeah. That's it. It's like, all right, let's go have some drinks. Let's watch the game. Let's have a good time. Especially, man, 9 o'clock on a Friday night. That is going to be rowdy. Pardon the pun. That was not intentional, but it's going to be a wonderful time. And to your point, that it'll be one of the cooler things I think St. Pete has experienced, to just fill that entire place with people going wild for a team they're passionate about and probably learning about on the fly, if we're being honest.
And listen, I'm the Tampa guy sitting here. I'm not going to ignore Tampa. I've been to watch parties at McDinton's. Those are great. There's one of those on the 19th. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Riveters has one on the 25th. That'll be fun. Armature Works has a bunch of them too.
Armature's great, man.
I mean, these things are going to be going on everywhere,
Yes.
and the Rowdies have a little bit of piece of all of them, and it's just exciting, man. I think that's a great time for soccer, and just like last thing I'm hoping you can kind of leave us with is, what does this look like in terms of like what kind of impact on the economy that you think that this will have for the cities? Because I think that for a lot of people, like you talk about how businesses are kind of suffering a little bit, and there's different things going on with the economy. Again, it's not a political conversation. It's just, it is what it is. So what type of positive impact do you think that this is going to have on the two cities? And do you think it's something that, is really going to jump things into gear heading into the fall?
Yeah, I mean, the last few summers we've seen on both sides of the bay, especially in St. Pete, a lot of businesses ended up closing at the end of the summer because it hurt too much. They couldn't hit rent. They couldn't, they were scraping to pay employees because things were so slow. This is a reason for everyone who lives here to go out, because that's the problem. Obviously, this is a tourist destination most of the year, but when it's hot everywhere, you don't need to come all the way down to St. Pete and Tampa to get the heat. It's obviously, that's why we're busier in the winter, because it's cold everywhere else and it's nice here. But this is the reason for all of us to go out. This is the reason for us to, look, 9 o'clock on a Friday, I'm in my mid-30s. I would probably be on my way home, but instead, I'm going to be on my way to Al Lang, or on my way
out.
I'll be I'll be in line, ready to buy a beer, ready to get some pizza from Colony Grill, and we're going to be doing this all month long, and it's all ages, because it's not just the the Irish pubs that you typically think of when you're going to watch soccer. That,
kids make this stuff, man.
You look at
they'll be there.
Everybody loves a fun drunk guy, but kids, dude, seeing kids celebrate and dress up and all that stuff, those are the ones that you need to get hooked, man. That wild drunk guy that's tarps off, he's always going to be there. But you need that 5 and 6 year old. You need them to get hooked, so they're there 4 years and then 4 years from that.
And then they're buying their kids' meals, they're buying their Cokes, and the parents are staying out longer. And then obviously, if you're out without kids, then you're just having a great time anywhere you go, regardless. I do think it's going to be really, really big for a lot of places. And what I've seen just subjectively, a lot of the places that maybe don't even have TVs, they're bringing in screens so that we can say, hey, you want to watch the games? Come here. You don't want to go to a traditional, British pub that is maybe – not that they aren't kid-friendly, but feels a little bit more rowdy and packed in. It's like Green Bench in St. Pete, I think, is a great example of that. They're setting up a big tent out in their beer garden, saying, "Hey, come on in here, watch some games," and it's a relaxed place. Everybody can go. I'm not going to Green Bench to watch the NFL, but okay, now you're going to put a setup like this out here. I'm in. I'm game, and everybody's doing that. That's one example of, probably hundreds that I've seen across Tampa and St. Pete that people are going to have a reason to come out on a Tuesday night because, all right, Columbia and Uruguay are playing. Let's go. Let's just go check it out.
Let's go.
It doesn't have to be just the U.S. games. And I think that's what's going to give it real legs. And as much as people want to complain about, not all people are complaining. I like it, but the expanded tournament, but it's more games. And you look at it from that perspective of the local economy, that's more games for them to fill bar stools, fill booths, fill tables, and have people out there having fun, enjoying their product. And you probably end up with a lot of people that come to your establishment for the first time. They have a great time because they're watching soccer or they're watching the World Cup. Hopefully they get good food, good drink, and they want to come back after the Cup's over.
And that's exactly what we're hoping happens Friday night at Al Lang Stadium. Come to Al Lang Stadium, watch the game, come the next day, get a ticket. But I like your point about how it's not just the U.S. games. Because that's the thing. I think that's the thing that people don't realize. It's like there's 3 U.S. games that are guaranteed. But the World Cup is in the States where the timing of these games, it actually fits with what's going on here. Because like every other World Cup I can ever remember, you're waking up at a time of day that you don't want to be awake at, or you're going to a bar at like 7 in the morning, which like not everybody's going to do that.
I'll take the excuse to have a Guinness with my breakfast. That's fine.
Right.
But generally speaking, especially on a Thursday if you got work, it's like, okay, well now I can go after work and catch some games.
It's a great time to drink and gamble in the middle of the day. That's what the World Cup brings. That's why we have fun.
There you go. Exactly. Seth, you got anything else? You're the king of St. Pete.
No, I'm stoked, man. I know Janice, Fergs is going down, Al Lang. So, all the great spots of St. Petersburg.
Those are some of the best venues in the city.
Yeah, very happy to show it off. And I hope that when they're doing kind of a recap of the USA watch party and they're showing all the watch parties from all over the country, I do hope that Al Lang makes it in there from like an aerial or a drone view, because I think that it'll be one of the most scenic viewing parties that we have here in the good old US of A.
Absolutely.
Can we get on that camera guy that works for the Rowdies? We should probably get some of that B-roll, Santi.
Santi, I didn't know who it was, but yeah. Santi,
we got to get on that, Santi. Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much for coming in, man. I think people are really excited and fired up, so it's good to hear from somebody that has a pulse of the cities. And appreciate all the support that you guys do for the Rowdies as well, man. Appreciate it. And
yeah, absolutely.
Looking forward to a fun summer in St. Pete and Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
You too, St. Petersburg.
The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, they kick the ball around. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, they kick the ball around. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there.